we're going to test a live. And this is meant to be a grungy, raw look at the state of the workshop kind of live. Not any sort of hiding things or getting everything prim and proper before I started. Nope. This is the chaos that I'm currently thriving in. Good stuff. The jury's still out on Deoxit. I don't know if anybody else is a huge fan, but the Fader Deoxit's pretty great. So anyway, yeah, this is a series that I'm going to call lovingly fixing things after work to pay bills. And look, it's a XB60. Isn't that fun? And that's kind of because of a lack of creativity, and kind of because it really does fit kind of the gist I'm going for here, as you can see with the chaos of random rags, shop rags, and tools all over the place and stuff. It definitely has become kind of my aesthetic lately. So today I'm going to be working on a Sony, and it is a SLV-678HF. So nice old Sony VCR. These are typically pretty decent units. Basically what I've gotten into doing is I like to buy used electronics and refurbish them and then resell them. And if I'm going to be doing this anyway, you know, why not video it as well, right? So what I like to do is before I even go through the trouble of plugging it in and testing it, I go ahead and open up the case. I'd say mid-90s or newer. A lot of things that I'm going to be doing is going to be very similar. Real common issue that you're going to wind up seeing, because even if this thing is fully working, that's why I'm not even worried about testing it right now. I would still come in here and do this service. Ooh, she's dusty though. Ooh. Good gracious, that's a lot of dust. Okay. Anyway, let's have a little inspection. So our pinch wheel's not cracked or anything like that. Our light sensor there is really dirty, so that's probably going to be causing problems. This is your head. Is it locked up? Nope. A lot of times when they sit for a long time, they'll just kind of, the bearings, I guess, will sink through the oil, and you actually have to spin it to get it to, you know, no longer be locked up. Is this? So this is a head cleaner, this little piece, and these foam ones tend to get old and just become crumbly, and really they dirty up your heads worse than cleaning. So a lot of the times I'll just remove that and never put it back. So yeah, y'all got a good one today, because good grief, look at this, just you can make a sandwich with that. Put that in the trash can over here. So this one may wind up going outside to get blown out at some point. I'm not sure if I'll be videoing that or not, but that's not important. Now that we have it where we can see it, let's see what kind of symptoms we're probably dealing with on this poor dirty old Sony. Are you at least clean enough for me to plug in? Good grief. Oh, the dust. Oh, we got head spin. Okay. And we do have right up here we got some display, so we have power. That's a big one. That is a big one. That's the first hurdle. All right, so we got tape about missionaries here. I think that would be fairly rights free. Oh, we got some stuff going wrong. How did you get over there? Whoa, okay. So, yeah, we got some problems, which is fine. We knew we would have problems. Wait, are you sticking to that? Interesting. So it's sticking. Wow, that is legitimately sticking to that. Okay, so first problem is we got to clean the head. You don't have to spin in order to eject this, but fine if you want to. if you'll give me a second thing, I'll get it you loose. This is why you use a tape you don't care about for first tests. Because some sort of horror like this is bound to happen. We're going to power back on. Now that the head will spin, maybe it'll let me eject. Oh, I'm not hitting the eject button, am I? There's the eject button. Wow, that probably wasn't healthy for that tape at all. Let's have a look, just for fun. You know, honestly, oops, and then I go and do that. Honestly, didn't chew her up too bad actually. So, look through the windows. There's a little bit of there, but that's all right. So, first thing we got to do is clean the heads. It's unusual for me to do that first. So the trick with head cleaning on a VCR, the heads, let me flip this up here, are actually these little slots here on the sides of this. So this guy is a 4-head unit. They're actually quite fragile. Here we go, let me make sure you can actually see it. These little slots, there, and there. So you don't want anything that's going to grab them while they're in motion. That would be bad. So what you want to do is you want to get some isopropyl alcohol and like a piece of paper. So I've just folded up a post-it note here. Probably has like some sort of vital personal information on it that I'm not supposed to show everybody, but do I care? No. Anyway, and I just soak that sucker and then I wipe it on my clothes a little bit here. And what you're doing is by doing this, you're able to clean without putting any pressure past the threshold of those heads, so that you don't accidentally catch the heads and break them to the side. You know, it's touching them, but it's just touching them about as much as the film does with a nice straight piece of paper like this. And as you can see, we've got some grody going on there. So yeah, that was definitely problem number one. I guarantee you there will be more. Normally I clean the heads while they're spinning with a tape in here, but with that grabbing it was doing, I know why it was doing that now that I think about it. It's because this was literally in my van out in like 40 degrees about 10 minutes ago. And so some of these metal surfaces in here have become a little frosty. Let's try it again. Let's see what it does. What's the worst that can happen? What happened last time? Oh, we definitely are still catching. Alright, eject. Can you eject? Well, anyway, I'll go ahead and show you how to get the front off if you want to get deeper down into this thing. We've got tabs all around. Got some on the sides here. Got some on the bottom. Sometimes you'll have a screw down here, so you got to watch for that. Make sure that you're not fighting that battle. But if you just reach around it and you just take a moment to pop each of these tabs while maintaining backwards pressure, then eventually you can tease it off. Sometimes you have to use tools like this little spatula. Come on, baby, get up under there. There it is. And occasionally the plastic breaks. It didn't there was a pop, but it didn't break. But occasionally that happens, and, you know, plastic from the 90s. What are you going to do? Oh, we got us a cable over here that's holding on for dear life. So we're not going to have any controls. All right, let's just go ahead and unplug this. Here's a big tip on any electronics you work on. If you're going to be unplugging or especially plugging back in a cable like this guy here, go ahead and turn it off or unplug the machine entirely, because it's not terribly likely on that one, but there's the small chance that when you're trying to put that back in there, you get it indexed off one pin, and then you might wind up having a ground wire, you know, short out a power wire, and you just introduced problems that are going to make you not happy. It's going to take a lot more work. So yeah, since we're going to have to wait on this thing to dry up anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do some servicing on it. Everyone is different. They always design them all kind of different. So to figure out how to get the deck off here, the chassis, is always a little bit of a learning game. We're going to try to pry a little bit at this, because I'm just going to try to unplug all the little plugs. Come on, you. That guy's on there. That's for the right head, if you were going to be recording. There we go. Don't ever pull the cables. Find some way to pry on the actual connector, because if you pull the cables, yank them out, then you got a bad time. Same thing here. I'm using my fingernail, just getting under this. So these are the audio head right here, and I believe that head there is for writing audio. So again, if you're recording, then this is where the audio would be put on. And then also when it's playing back, that silver head there is the head that the audio is pulled from. There we go. Just have to keep trying and be patient. That's the big thing. Don't ever get mad at it and start yanking real hard on things. Just checking our comments there, making sure there weren't any that I was ignoring. So I see a ground cable over here. Ground is very important on VCRs. If you take one apart and you get it back together and you're suddenly getting like a bunch of static in the video, make sure that there's something grounding that chassis. It's not normally a wire like this. It's normally like a screw in the back that goes through like a little metal flange. But it can be this. I have spent more time than I care to admit chasing video problems that it turned out was just because I didn't get the ground back together. So, and it will look just like your heads are misaligned and things like that. Yeah, here's kind of what I was talking about that metal. Now this one has got, that is the cable for the head and drum here. So love these, and by the your even pressure pulling that out. And that's just a ribbon cable. This is what I would normally see as like the ground point. It'd be something like that right there, where it's just holding a piece of sheet metal to the chassis. So we're just exploring right now. We're trying to see what we think are the points that are holding on. I had to guess this guy is probably one. Although I'm less confident now that I've done that. Here's a tip for you. If you're trying to figure out what you need to get loose in order to take a tape chassis off, look at the bottom. And a lot of times, maybe not so much on this one, because this one has a layer of, does it have a layer of plastic down there? Let's see. Yeah, see this black plastic here is what the tape deck is holding on to. If it's a newer unit that has a plastic bottom, you'll actually see the divots where those go up, and you'll see the screw pointing down out, so you can tell which screws are actually what's holding it in place. Since this one has a separate board, a separate plastic piece from the actual body of the machine, something's still holding a little bit. We may, oh, back here, it escaped me. Sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera there. Couldn't see that one. I was gonna say we may have to take the whole board out. But I don't think we're going to. I think this is gonna be it. Alright. Uh-oh. So I see one thing right off the bat here. I've got a spring just floating around with a chunk of plastic on it that came off of something. That's never good. What did you go to? Where did you go, my lovely? You stay up close what I'm talking about. That guy right there is just kind of floating. It may be mission critical. It may not. On occasion you can get lucky and something like that won't be mission critical. If I have a spare deck around here of this type, I don't believe I do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I don't think I have one to compare it to. Let's see, so there's your belt. If ever you need to change your belt on one of these, this one's still grabbing pretty good. You can see the centrifugal force of that flywheel there. That's the main motor actually. I think that's where the capstan is. Yeah, that's where the capstan is. It's not slipping as I'm doing this. It's not much, if any. You'd be surprised. I very rarely have to change these belts. Although this is a Sony unit, and Sony belts like to turn to liquid. I don't know why. You can see this wheel right here flips back and forth for driving the deck forwards or in rewind. So that's cool. Got a lot of these little plug-in points. That there, this here. And those are just plugging into various points on the board. And that's to make this more easy to pull off, which is actually really cool. Mode switch is something that is oftentimes a problem on units. It's one of the ways that they figured out to basically let the unit know where all these parts are in motion. Here's a good example. So on a capacitor, a lot of times you'll have like this kind of cut into here. Sometimes it's the shape of a K, sometimes it's an X or a Y. Don't know why they choose different shapes, just different brands. But that's kind of expansion joints, and if a capacitor is going bad, those will start to bulge out. If you see that, then time to swap capacitors out. There's our mode switch. I had a feeling there was one in here. So this is a mode switch. I'm paying close attention to which direction it's pointing right now, because that's the direction it was pointing with the deck that we took off. And that's because, let me pull this back over here, because this shaft goes through the middle of this, and that hole right there is where this pin is going to go through. And if you don't get those figured out as to where this needs to be when you're done with it, and you put it back facing this way or something, well, I mean, number one, it's not going to be in the hole, so it's not going to function correctly. You may not be able to get the deck to sit correctly. You can get really frustrated if you don't know, if you don't pay attention to that. So for this, I can already tell we're just going to pry the white part up. Looks like the black part wants to come up with it. We don't want that, so we'll start over here where it's soldered down, and I can hold it down a little bit. Pow! There we go. And it is disgusting. So that is a mode switch. See, these are brushes. You see they're all made out of one piece of copper. So anything that touches one of them is in circuit to all of them. And that is basically going along this horrible tattered mess that we're going to make look really good in a minute. And these are bare copper traces. And so wherever it is in the cycle is where, you know, it's touching, like over here it's touching these all four. Over here it's only touching three, you know, and that's how the machine knows where in its movement everything is. It's pretty clever, actually. I'm going to get some isopropyl alcohol, some IPA. Good stuff. Not the IPA like the beer. No, we're not doing that. Just checking, making sure everybody's still chill, cool. And you will, if you get into this hobby, you will go through Q-tips like mad. You will never have too many. I believe some of these companies actually did attempt to put some sort of a grease in here to try to prevent corrosion. This one kind of looked like there was. It had all kind of dried up and cracked. And so yeah, a lot of times with those, like this one, just cleaning it with IPA is actually going to get you a pretty solid result. I mean, that's, you know, got some grunge off of there, some old dried dielectric grease. So I mean, to the camera that looks pretty phenomenal now. But see if I can show you. There's still some tracks on it, basically exclusively right where those brushes run, that are dark in color and got some corrosion, some oxidation built up. So my answer to that, let me reach into my giant junk pile here, is a fiberglass pen. So it is literally what it says. It's got a long filament of fiberglass threads, and as you can see, they basically all point forwards, and it's very abrasive. And so it's kind of like sandpaper that you can point at things. But you can even spend some time working on the brushes, getting them back. And, you know, just for fun, I like to hit down here on the little brush plate, but let me do 2 of them. You gotta be gentle on these things though, because they are real thin. They're not made to be scrubbed on, but let's see if you can see a difference here. Yeah, so you can see the 2 on the left cleaned, the 2 on the right not cleaned. Big difference. Spending a little bit of time here will absolutely pay dividends in the result. Also, if you're planning on keeping the machine, or if you're like me and you just want to do it right before you sell it to somebody else, then you want to clean this, even if the machine's still working just fine. So anyway, the fiberglass pen does, you know, leave some residue, some little fibers. So I do recommend going back over everything that you've done with a Q-tip dipped in IPA. Another quick thing is it doesn't hurt as long as you're really gentle. Take your fingernail and get up under these and just kind of bend them up a little bit. I'm sure over time they can get a little bit bent down. And we want to make in real solid contact with these. That's the whole way that works. There are some people on the VCR forums that say this is a terrible idea, and they will hate me for saying this. This is what we call dielectric grease. So it's meant to be kind of neutral to the electrons. It's supposed to be kind of like air, you know, like electricity can travel through it, but it's not a conductor. I believe this is what's on these from the factory. I really do think that it's a good idea to put this on here, because what it's doing is it's separating the bare copper from the air, from the oxygen. And of course, you know, if you know much about oxidation, that's basically what's happening. When your penny turns brown, it's because of oxygen normally. Unless it's been up your butt, then that's a different problem. So I'm just putting a really light coating of that on this. And we're ready to go back together. So you can see these little clips here. And all those are doing is they've got little ramps on them. So you just get it in place as long as you've got those in the middle there. And you just push and pop. There it is. Now you know how to clean a mode switch. Isn't that awesome? I'm a little worried, not gonna lie, about the spring here that we found that has a little piece missing off of it. Gonna have to think about where that goes. I do remember having a different one of these that something up here broke like that. Are you what broke on me last time? I think it's you. Yep, I remember this. Cool. So this is common on these Sonys. This is the second one I've had that did this. So this is a brake that will kind of, under certain functions, will push. It's supposed to sit like this, and that brake will come over here and push on this wheel and stop it or slow it down, whichever. And there's supposed to be a spring from here to here that's holding it in this position, and then when the VCR gets ready, it moves this out of the way so that it's ready to go. I have super glue, but I don't know where my activator is, and that sucks because it means it's not fast super glue. I'm also not beyond 3D printing something that can stick out right here and totally stop that. So we'll think on that. This can sit off to the side for a minute while I get this guy back in. Okay, so a quick little aside, I actually did design a little widget to glue down to that piece and make it function. So I'm currently showing you on the screen what the 3D file looks like. It's got the little divot there to hold the spring. And here's what it looks like installed. I just used super glue. I mean, nothing special about it. And as you can see, it is currently working just fine at holding that spring. So back to the stream. So another interesting thing is what lets your VCR know that a tape is done is you've got this LED here, which is suspiciously darkened. Normally it's very clear, so I'm a little worried about that. But it is a UV LED, so you know, it's just, wow, that was way too much again. It is supposed to be putting out UV light, which you cannot see with the naked eye, but if you ever want to see it, you use a phone camera. So y'all will be able to see it, but I won't. And it hits some prisms up here that send it these directions. And these are light sensors right here. And so they're supposed to sense the light. And so if dirt gets in between from whatever path from there to there and there to there, you have problems because it believes that the tape is at the end of the tape or something to that effect. So you want to clean those. LED, light sensing LEDs. I will probably take this apart off camera and actually blow it out and really deep clean it, but I'm just avoiding that for the moment because I tend to do that outside for obvious reasons. Alright, so all those connectors, because I had that lined up correctly, there's little points I can see to know I'm lined up. They all just and just plopped right into place beautifully. But essentially all this grease has just gotten awful and just turned to almost glue. So definitely along these paths here, probably a few other places, you're going to want to clean the grease off. It's mixed with dust and dirt. Grease loves to grab dirt. And if you see a very dusty machine like this, then you can be certain that all the grease is contaminated with that same dirt. I use white lithium grease. So we've greased those areas where these pickups run. Windex is a good all-purpose cleaner. It's very, very gentle detergent. So hardly ever do you find anything that Windex will disintegrate if it gets on it. And yet it still does a pretty good job of cleaning. So on rubber items like this pinch roller here, I like to use Windex instead of isopropyl alcohol, because I'm afraid that the isopropyl alcohol will draw the oils out of this rubber and then it will crack prematurely. This here is called your capstan. This roller will go down here and pinch the film between this and this, and then this capstan spinning is what actually pulls the film through the mechanism. So you want to clean your capstan. So we're cleaning the audio heads here. We're going to go over here and clean the recording head, which I've forgotten to plug in until now, so I'm glad I did that because it let me see that. Just for my own entertainment, I'll just clean this line of gunk off the top of this thing. Again, this guy's going to get a good brushing out and blowing out in a bit. Spins free. We should be mostly functional again, with possibly the exception of that broken part. It's missing its spring. Okay, so I've noticed a few things. We've plugged this machine back in, but I forgot to get that plugged in. Also, the controls here are not plugged in, so not a major problem. I just recommend pulling the cable, which Why is that cable sticky? Anyway, before you try to plug things back in. Okay, yeah, so that just pushes inside of that until it seats. We'll go ahead and put the front back on. I mean, you know, we can always take it back off if need be. When you go to put these back on, before you pop anything in place, you need to hold the door here up and then pop it into place, because there is a device on the mechanism here that makes it that it interacts with this door so that whenever it's going to spit the tape back out, it opens the door first, then spits the tape out. Otherwise the tape would just slam into the back of this one-way door and wouldn't come out, and nobody would be happy with that. I've got the ground removed at the moment, and I understand I've already said that's not the best idea. We'll find out. It's okay, because I'm just trying to see if it will run a tape right now. We're not even, TV's off. We're not even using the TV right now. We're just going to see if I do this. Will it cycle where I want it to cycle? There's some hot garbage tape. What is going on? Are you still sticky? You know what? I think I know what's up. Let me see if it'll eject this. It's probably going to try to eat the tape. But I think this tape has that stickiness on it now, from what I had when I ran it earlier. So that may be the end of our... Yeah, I can see some gunk on there, I think. International Mission Board, Journey of Faith and Sacrifice. We've reached the sacrifice. So anyway, plugged it back in. We're going to swap to a nothing tape. Fun. Let's try it again. Let it play. Okay, it sure looks like it's playing. So you can see the wheels are rolling and turning. Pinch wheels turning. Everything is routed correctly, and the tape is smoothly sliding along the drum. The drum, it's not that the tape and the drum move at the same speed. This tape moves incredibly slow, while the drum is just absolutely passing it over and over again. And that's why the drum is sideways. I don't know if you've ever seen a good illustration of this, but the way that they found to put a whole bunch of data on this tape was, imagine this is your tape. Well, then your data is not drawn like this on it, because that would be, the heads would read it and they would just get, you know, one amount of data. No, the data is like this along it. And that is so, as this is going by, that head is spinning and it's reading this, reading this, reading this, reading this. Let's get our TV back on here. Well, it sure looks like we've got some television. If you've ever wanted to watch ABC Family, now you can. This is a tape I found as a freebie tape in a VCR at some point. Quality on that is not looking great, but that's also not a surprise because this is a recorded tape. And depending on which speed they recorded that at, you know, could be a problem. Let's test fast forwards. Okay. Let's test rewind. Ooh, is rewind being a problem? Okay, that may be what our missing piece affects. My TV is really bad about going like, oh no, there's no signal for the past half a millisecond. I'll just cut everything. I wish I could turn that off. It's one of the things I hate the most about modern televisions. But honestly, that's looking decent. I may get another piece of paper and do another cleaning. As long as you're careful with your cleanings, you're not going to hurt anything. But I'm just, let me move my hand where you can see. So I'm just getting that in line with the drum, and you can just kind of hear that it's just, those heads are just skimming it. And that's, you know, didn't get near as much crud off this time, but a little bit of crud. That's the best way to clean heads, in my opinion. Let's eject. Let's see if she ejects good. Take up's working. Yep. Excellent. It did take up the tape completely. Yes, it did. That's nice and tight. That's important. Cool. So let's see. We got Flipper here. I think this is about like people that buy houses and sell them or something, or maybe they buy VCRs and resell them. Maybe that's what Flipper is. Let's find out. Ah, yeah, that's a lot better quality because this is a off-the-shelf, you know, recorded movie, not something that was recorded by a VCR. So yeah, it looks like we have it working. I'm probably still going to fix this, but I will probably do that off screen because it's going to take like glue drying time and that sort of stuff. And I may, since I'm seeing this multiple times when I see these models of Sony's, I may actually take the time to go into CAD and draw up something that will fit in this little divot here, come up over the edge, and then just replace this and just be an arm that I can hook the spring to. And we'll just glue nicely to that flat area. And the little counter on the front is doing a great job of counting up there. Play. Ah, it's a dolphin run! Oh my goodness. Is this something that'll get me a copyright violation? It probably is. I got the theme from my movie from 1992. He's not paying me for that. You know, fair, whatever. Here's your 1 penny. I'm sorry. I didn't think you didn't think I was gonna start a live on here and then just suddenly start showing a Zex tape, huh? Look, Tall Geese is my favorite Gundam. I don't even know why. I just love Tall Geese. So I gotta love Zex Marquis. So we did get the remote with this. I'm trying to remember where I got this TV. Where did I get this? I got it in an estate sale. And I paid $5 for it. And there's awesome news. Whoever had it knew how to take the batteries out. Isn't that great? Man, that's rare. I was opening that up fully anticipating just having some real problems. Oh, you want to see a cool trick? You want to test your remote? Well, I can't see it with my eyes, but looking at the camera, see the little light blinking there? That's it sending out signals. Again, it's infrared, which only cameras can see, and probably some type of birds or something, who knows. All right, you know what? This was an hour-long stream. I'm going to call it a success for now. And I guess we'll put it back together afterwards. And well, first off, I'll clean the daylights out of it off screen. I may stream again a little bit later. Thank you so much for coming out here and entertaining me. Thank you, Alistair, for your amazing help on helping me know to turn notifications off and stuff. I'm going to wrap it up. There's another VCR saved. This one will probably sell for $60 to $80 actually once I get it cleaned up. So until next time.